You know what's never a good sign? When your director is openly spoiling the film in a Twitter Q&A before that film has even been released, and then the studio is promoting said Q&A. Help me try to make it make sense. It doesn't. What is going on?
Michael, what have you done?
I was trying to help people. But the cure. It's a curse.
Michael.
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel and time for another episode of Luke's Reviews. On today's video, well, if you've been to the cinema recently, within, I'd say, what feels like the past year and a half, you will be fully aware that a new Marvel legend is on its way to theaters.
A new Marvel legend arrives exclusively in movie theaters April 1st.
And it's finally arrived. Is it worth your time? Well, let's find out. This is my review for Morbius. Michael Morbius is a talented doctor suffering from a debilitating disease that will eventually kill him. His life's work has been searching for a cure, and he makes a breakthrough when experimenting with the DNA of vampire bats. During a trial on himself, Michael Morbius is left transformed into a creature hungry for blood with unbelievable powers at his disposal. Oh my god! Morbius is the equivalent of that friend who tells you that they have absolutely everything under control, and the next time you see them, they are running down the street with an angry mob chasing after them. Morbius is that friend, and I am the mob. Why does this film exist? Well, there is a reason that this film exists. I can't get into it because of spoilers, but I feel like I have to bring it up at some point in this video, maybe later, because if I don't discuss it, my head is going to explode. But yeah, Morbius doesn't need to exist. No one asked for this. No one needed this. No one wanted this. Literally, you could just make Morbius a villain in your Spider-Man movie. That's all you needed to do. It's that simple. You don't need to detail out an hour and 40-minute film for his origin. You can do that in a far more contained time, because there is nothing to his character that can make him carry a film. Sony just don't know what they're doing with this universe, this SSU, Sony Spider-Man universe. I mean, they don't even have a fucking Spider-Man yet. I mean, they have Tom Holland, but he belongs to the MCU. We have no clear indication of if there is a Spider-Man, who is this Spider-Man? Okay, calm, Luke. Happy thoughts. Talk about the positives for the film. I like the design and look of Morbius. And you know what? The score is pretty good. That's basically because it is entirely a ripoff of The Dark Knight. Don't believe me? Take a listen.
I've become something different.
And you can't deny that Matt Smith is giving it all in this role. The material he's been provided with is absolute garbage, but he's going for it. Everything else, however, I honestly don't think I've seen a superhero movie this bad since Fantastic. In fact, Morbius might be even worse. For starters, the story is all over the shop. The editing, which I'm pretty sure they don't even credit in the film, is hapless. Scenes exist next to each other. There's no flow. There's no sense that there was an overarching vision to this. It's like they just plonked the scenes together, hoping that some sense can be derived out of it. It can't. It's so aimless, and yet always seems so busy. Usually when a film is as poorly edited as this, I put it down to studio interference, but I don't think they had a good story to begin with here, which doesn't really come as much of a surprise when your credited screenwriters, their work includes Gods of Egypt and The Last Witch Hunter. Much of everything that happens is either nonsense, disjointed, or disjointed nonsense. It plays out like it wants to be some mid-noughties comic book movie, and it wishes it were that lucky. Things just happen without any build or explanation. I have no idea how the experiments that Michael was doing on the bat suddenly gave him vampire-like powers. There's literally, they don't address it. Instead, we just get lots and lots of scenes of him slurping artificial blood bags like they're Capri Suns. Jared Leto, you know, after some questionable performances, I've always thought the dude, he's alright, you know? But as Morbius, there's no charm. There's no personality. The Venom films, for instance, are far from spectacular, but at least you have a committed Tom Hardy. I can't tell you a single trait of Michael Morbius. When it comes to the action, you've seen it before. CGI swirls fill the screen. It's almost indeterminable what is actually happening. And the final confrontation is honestly one of the most uneventful climaxes to a comic book movie I have ever seen. And then there's the post-credit scenes. Now, these post-credit scenes have been heralded as the worst post-credit scenes of all time, and they're not wrong. I'm going to have to talk about this, so as usual, I'm going to include a little timestamp here if you want to avoid spoilers. I'll be honest though, if you've gotten this far into my review and are still considering seeing Morbius, I feel like I failed as a YouTube reviewer. But anyway, if you do want to remain spoiler-free, click here and you will skip straight past it. Right. The first scene obviously ties into No Way Home. The universe rips apart, and for what we believed was just the case that Doctor Strange was sending people back to their original universes, Sony are just like, hey, you know, some people may just get dragged back into the wrong universe. So Michael Keaton's Vulture shows up in a jail cell. That's the first scene. And then the second scene, he's out of jail, and he meets up with Morbius, and I shit you not, the conversation just goes, hey, I'm new to this universe, and I feel like the Spider-Man is behind it. Do you want to team up and get him? And Michael Morbius, who at this point has been, okay, yeah, he's not a great guy, and he's done some shady stuff, but he's not an out-and-out villain, just decides, yeah, you know what? Let's team up. He's never met this dude. As far as he's concerned, this dude is a criminal. He wants to roughly remain on a good path, so that makes no sense. Then you have the whole concept of the Vulture becoming bad. When we last saw him in the post-credit scenes of Spider-Man Homecoming, he protected Peter Parker. He knows that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, but yet he protected his identity because he saved his daughter. So why all of a sudden has his entire ethos about Spider-Man changed? Now he wants to team up and kill him. I'll tell you why it's changed. Because Sony want to just jump on a group big budget bandwagon and are so desperate to make the Sinister Six, they will stop at nothing, even if they punch their fists down your throat to force feed you this goddamn Suicide Squad movie that it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Now we're back to the land of non-spoilers. Morbius sucks, and not in the way the titular character would like. I went in with low expectations, and somehow the film couldn't even meet that. Jared Leto simply does not have the charisma to carry a film such as this, but let's face it, this character was never going to lead a film anyway. The action is poorly shot, the visual effects are horrendously outdated, and the biggest offender of all has to be that mess of a script. Sony have had some bad days at the office, but this will undoubtedly go down as one of the worst. They simply don't know what they're doing. I've said it numerous times in this video, I've said it numerous times in the past when talking about Spider-Man and the Sony deal that they have. They don't know what they're doing. So, I'm going to give Morbius a 2.5 out of 10. Wow, anyway guys, those are my thoughts on Morbius. Let me know, have you had the unfortunate pleasure of watching this film yet? What did you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And my question to you, I just want to know, what do you think Sony should do at this point? The obvious answer is sell all the rights of Spider-Man back to Marvel, but they're not going to do that because No Way Home just went and became like the 4th biggest film of all time. So they're clinging on to this. I mean, we've got a Kraven the Hunter film planned, a Madam Web film planned, but then they come out and produce the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse film, which is hands down the best Spider-Man film ever made. But that is all we have time for today, so thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hello, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure to click that like button, and if you aren't already, click that subscribe button too.